Good. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Yeah, that's good. And the
And
weather is good in Toronto, right?
yep. Toronto is we're still here. I'm not
Oh
too
yeah.
sure about this gray area or the red area. I don't know what color they keep calling it, but it's still in up in the air. So what's really going on over here?
Yeah. Oh, also I've heard about like some variants as well and stuff that are kind of like coming in Quebec. There's gonna have some. So yeah, in Toronto too, maybe. I'm not sure exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. It's always, you know what, you work with what you have, right? There's life is
Mhm,
always gonna have changes, and it's gonna have different
mhm.
roadblocks, and that's
Yeah.
great. So you know what, that's no problem. If a road is blocked, it doesn't mean you can't get around to the other side. It just means you got
Mhm.
to figure out a new way to get there.
Yeah, totally. Right. So yeah, yes, we'll wait a little bit. I know that Emmanuel was supposed to join as well.
Hmm. How's everyone finding uh Telegram? Hope everyone's getting comfortable with the platform.
Oh yeah, Telegram, yeah.
Hmm.
Actually, Alexandra is here, right? Alexandra, I know that you like Telegram, so I don't know if she can talk, but
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I just put on my headphones.
mhm. All right, so
No problem.
yeah,
One
yeah.
second, one second, guys.
All right, that's good. We'll just wait a little bit, only a few minutes, and we're gonna start.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. So yeah, anyways, we can start right now. I guess more people are gonna join a bit later, but there
Sure.
is that big thing about like, in the group we talk a lot about like crypto, about stocks, and there is always that thing: is it better to go into stocks? Is it better to go into crypto? We have heard a lot of people earning a lot of money in cryptocurrencies. So is it does it worth it to actually look at the opportunity? Maybe try to invest some money into cryptocurrencies. But at the same time, I personally find that there is also downside to doing that, right? So this is basically what we want to talk about today. So we just want to have kind of I would say like a bit of an open discussion about like what do you guys think about going into either cryptocurrencies, either between going into stocks, right? Hey, Emmanuel. So I guess I know that Josh has something really interesting that he wants to share about stocks. And yeah, Josh, if you can share a bit what you think, if it's actually good to go invest in stocks, or it might be better to look at like cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, thank you, Bryce. So absolutely, guys, what I want to address here is that when you're when you're doing you're either looking at stocks or cryptocurrencies, right? You want to look at what you really understand, right? There's example being, look at Tesla. Everyone's like, oh my goodness, Tesla's going up and up, and so people who bought Tesla, they're making some money. They think they're very successful because they're always looking in the rear mirror saying, look how much money I made, not look how much money I'm going to make or what I'm going to do. So you see a lot, and that's what really pushes the market, because those kind of people start getting very confident, and they keep pushing more money at it, thinking, we're going to make more, but they don't really understand what they're doing. And so that base principle applies to both stocks and cryptocurrencies, real estate, anything you're trying to look into to invest. If you really don't know what you're doing and you're just going by the market, you are going to get burnt for sure, because it's like driving a car and you do this, you're going to crash eventually, right? So when you want to, and I more look into stocks because I understand stocks. For me, when I'm buying a stock, I'm buying a portion of a company. And so that's how I look at it. So if I'm gonna buy, let's say McDonald's, I understand, hey, you know what, they're a fast food chain. I understand, their business, what affects them, and then I can also sort of look into the future to say, hey, if the world starts going more digital, like how it is McDonald's gonna go to business? No, because they know how to adjust, right? They know how to say, oh, look, now more people using online. Hey, let's get an app. They react and they're proactive. So they have good management to prove that. So I would go and invest in McDonald's because I understand that. And so then I would just sort of wait to say, hey, right now maybe McDonald's is $130. I think it's really valued for 120. So I'll just wait for that point to get in and say, okay, I will purchase that McDonald's stock at 120 because I understand the company, I understand the fundamentals of the company, and basically I can sort of look into the future to say, they're pretty solid and they're future proofed in that way. So for me, I would stick to what I know. So I know the stock, so I will stick to that. Whereas you have the cryptos, which is also great, but I'm not very strong in that. So for me, I wouldn't really just jump in because Bitcoin is going up. I just want to jump in for the hell of it. I'm not going to do that, right? It's just not, in my case, valid to say, oh, the fear of missing out, let me jump in and so forth. Or you might think that, hey, I could have invested $500 and I would have $2,000. That is true, but would you really understand as to what you're doing? Would you know when to maneuver and operate the money which is in that system? But also, would you understand as to what really affects Bitcoin? Why is it going up? What makes it
Uh,
go down?
yeah,
Right?
I have a question for you, Josh, actually,
Go
based
ahead.
on that, right? Because you said that you would go into, let's say, if we keep on going with McDonald's, if let's say McDonald's would say, all right, they're gonna create a cryptocurrency, and with that cryptocurrency, you can purchase anything at McDonald's. Would that be something great for you to like go and look into cryptocurrencies now, or you're gonna stick to McDonald's stocks?
I would still stick to McDonald's stocks because that crypto, that new form of payment, which McDonald's is now accepting, is still in an industry I don't fully understand. So I understand that yes, I can use it to buy, but that's all I know. So I look at it as if I were to get into, let's say, Crypto Black is a new company and they just accept crypto and make crypto. I wouldn't understand it, so I wouldn't jump on it. I'd have to research, I'd have to really understand the company, but also the industry that it's in for me to make a valid investment to say, this is actually the price it really is worth to me, and then I'd be able to purchase. Whereas if I don't know that, I'm just going to be purchasing whatever other people are purchasing, and I could be paying way over for something which is not worth that much.
Mhm. Yeah, that's good. Just want to tell you guys, by the way, if you have any questions or like if you want to jump in, if you have something to share, please just you can just raise your hand, and it's more like an open conversation, right? So that makes total sense. I know that also Emmanuel, if your camera is off, yeah. So like I know that like you're investing in both, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it would be great to know what you think about it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Bryce. So, personally, I look at it as one of the things that I like to invest in is disruptive innovation. And when I looked into crypto, yes, of course, I definitely encourage the fact of understanding what you are investing in. When I look into cryptocurrencies, you need to understand the technology behind it. The cryptocurrency is just uh, the monetary value that they're using when they're talking about blockchain, but the actual technology is the blockchain, which is the technology behind cryptocurrency. that particular technology is really disruptive, and it's something that I believe is going to be very, very useful and common, very common in the future. So when I look at it as an investor in the idea of a long-term investment, so it's like somebody who was looking at the internet in the 1990s when the internet was coming. So give me
Yeah,
a second. Can you
Manuel,
hear me? Yeah.
is
Can
there
you
anything wrong with your microphone?
can you hear me? Is it
Yeah, we can hear you, but
uh,
just a little bit.
all right? Yeah, I'm gonna try to get a little bit closer to my phone here. But yeah, so as I was saying, um, the point is to try to understand the technology behind cryptocurrencies. Technology behind cryptocurrencies is the blockchain technology, and it's something that is very, very helpful in the current and in the current market. Like it's gonna be very, very used, very common, very useful in the future. I think we talked about cryptocurrency, and I showed you how we talked about blockchain, and I showed a lot of people about how it's actually interacting with
Emmanuel,
yeah.
sorry, you keep on cutting. Maybe you can try to rejoin.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try to rejoin
Okay,
from my computer. Thank you.
yeah. So, yeah, like, 'cause me, what I think is that, like, going with what Emmanuel just said, I know that there is kind of like this big thing with cryptocurrencies. In the future, it's going to be used because, like, we're really going into digital. But one thing I find sometimes it's that it takes time sometimes to go into cryptocurrencies, and it might be sometimes risky as well because everything is so new, right? So we don't know. We invest into some projects, and what you can find is that you can find some great opportunities when you look at some people that are backing up projects. Like for instance, as Josh mentioned, if McDonald is behind the project, then it might be great to invest in that cryptocurrencies because we know that McDonald is not doing anything to lose money, right? So if they do a cryptocurrencies, it might be really super interesting to take a look at. But at the same time, it's that thing, right? So maybe Josh, you can tell me because I know that you're looking a lot of time into long-term investments. So if let's say you hear something like that, right? A new cryptocurrency that can be there in the future, would you put some money in it? Like just even if it's a little bit of your portfolio or I don't know, just maybe a few $1,000s.
I definitely feel that, let's stick with McDonald's or so. Um,
Mm,
they're gonna create a crypto coin or whatnot. So
mhm,
me personally, I would actually be more interested in growing my portfolio on the stock side of McDonald's because, as mentioned, that's gonna bring in more revenues for that business, which in result will work on both sides to say, the coin will gather some momentum, some value, but then their stocks are going to become even more valuable. All right. So for the shareholders, they're going to be really excited to be, hey, we're reaching out to the digital side where, you know, um, depending how the future goes, it could be, let's say you get paid from your employer, you might have an opportunity to put a portion of that money into a crypto asset or whatnot, right? So
mm,
it makes it much more liquid and easy to transfer between users. And I feel like
mhm,
as crypto is starting to evolve, I feel like once it gets to that point where it's very easy for users to just, basically have a credit card and, either pay in cash or in crypto, then I feel like that's gonna be a new ballgame altogether where,
mhm,
a lot of companies either they have their reward systems and might have crypto systems where they have coins
mhm,
for the company and so forth. And then as mentioned, that's great for the investors on the stock side because that's more revenue coming in just in additional revenue, but it's revenues coming into the business.
mhm. Yeah, makes sense. think Emmanuel is back.
I think you
Yeah,
had a
can you
question
guys?
before.
Yeah, Emmanuel.
Yeah, is my audio better now?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, perfect. So, yeah, what I was saying is how cryptocurrency are used as the monetary value to look into companies that are working in the blockchain uh, on the blockchain technology. So I was saying that if you are looking at the technology itself rather than the crypto, then you can see how this technology is something that's really going to change a lot of things, and it's definitely going to be used. Um, for example, there is a crypto debit card already. I have one. There are loans that are already uh, possible. I've used them multiple times, and how they're changing the market is that you don't need like credit scores. You don't need a lot of verification. As long as you have your collaterals, you can get your loan. Your debit card is there, and then there is one of the most challenging in the financial industry is the decentralized exchange. So, for example, for people who are trying to buy stock or crypto, so in this situation, cryptos, you don't even have to identify yourself in order to buy a crypto. You just will go on a website, and that website automatically connects to your wallet, the same wallet that you're going to use to identify yourself at the market, to use for your credit card. So just like it's really disruptive, and it's really going to be very useful in the future. So for an investor, what you want to do is look at things that going to be required or needed in the future, and try to position yourself before that demand happens, so that you have the thing that people are going to be looking for. And when you have it, then you will set the price. So I definitely understand the fact that cryptocurrency is still um, kind of volatile and dangerous as an investment, but the danger of it is more likely about the volatility. However, in terms of the technology and the actual value of it, there is really a potential in that. So for a conservative investor, for example, what I would say is at least have a 1% of your portfolio in cryptos, because right now it's really beginning. It's really at the beginning, and as we are moving, and as also in consideration how volatile that market is, with less than $500, you can see at least you can see some gains that are really reasonable compared to the stock market. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's good. There is one question from Mitch in the chat, so I'm gonna go back to that question probably close to the end of the meeting. I'm just gonna go show some tools, but there is also one question from Alexandra. You can turn on your microphone.
Sorry about that. Um, just perhaps a word of caution. Um, credit cards, crypto credit cards are as bad as loan sharks from some people who's had a few experience. The best idea from what I've gathered from friends of mine, sorry, of mine, would be to would be the cards where you put your own money and then you withdraw that money, even if it is a crypto card. But let's say if you get a Visa, um, c'est quoi le nom? A Visa Bitcoin credit card, you can find yourself with an insane amount of interest. Um, it, they directly take the money from the wallet. You have no recourse. Um, you can't scream foul. You try to contact them. There is virtually no customer service. It's a virtual nightmare. So it's just a word of caution. It is best to acquire the type of cards that you put in the money. Let's say you put $500, and then you withdraw until there is none, and then you add some more. But let's say I'm saying dollars, 500, c'est quoi le nom? I don't know, excellent, the XRP, or you get the point, right? So just make sure that you don't get yourself tangled, because they are merciless. You will find yourself, and you can't scream foul. And what struck me as odd was the banks purchased millions of bitcoins, at least 400 bitcoins. They are the ones, coincidentally, that have things like Visa cards, and it's just a hunch. But what if they said to themselves, why should they get full advantage of unregulated money? Why is that we can't get into the action as well? And they are the ones behind all of these unregulated Visa, crypto, whatever you call it. And then who are you going to call? The police? Complain at your bank? No, 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 no,
Mhm.
no. They stand to make billions just out of insane interest. Think about it. So I'm just saying they're poised to win quite a bit. Just be wise about credit cards. Be very,
Mhm.
very wise. That's all.
Yeah, it's a really good point because like maybe Emmanuel, you can talk about it, but one thing I find also with cryptocurrencies is that once you purchase some, you have to make sure that like you are protecting yourself, right? Because eventually, if you don't do the right things, the money you put can go down to zero, right? Like we talked about losing private keys. It happened to so many people. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they just basically lost everything they had into cryptocurrencies, right? So it's something to really be careful about. So Emmanuel, maybe you can say something about it.
Yeah, actually, just to mention, currently there is only crypto debit card. My mistake, I said credit, but currently there is only debit card. And
Mhm.
yes, it is actually a very dangerous process of purchasing cryptocurrencies, as there is no refund. So once you purchase your crypto, there can't be any refund, because if you send a crypto, if you send a crypto, any crypto, there is no way to reverse that transaction or to stop it from uh, once it has been launched. And if you do a mistake to send that crypto to like in a non wallet, a wrong wallet, or to a different wallet than the wallet created for that particular crypto, then you definitely lose those cryptos. So yeah, you need to be very cautious about how you're doing it in order to protect yourself. But yes, that is what comes with every great things. Like that is also why there is when it comes to the protection of the user, nobody else can have access to your crypto other than you, the person who has the private key. So for example, normally the centralized financial system is like you put your money with the bank has the money, and they can do any transaction with it depending on how you allow them to do it. But with crypto, you put your money in your crypto wallet. Nobody else has access to that money. Nobody else has the key. So if you lose it, you lose the money. If you want to send it somewhere, you want to do anything with it anytime, you're going to be able to do it. But you are the one who controls everything that is happening with your crypto.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And me, what I would add to that, it's also part of the risk, right? So you can have great reward if you invest into crypto, but there is more risks, and that is one risk that is related to it, right? you have to be really, really careful about it. Just one thing, we're actually going to talk about it on Wednesday. So during our next crypto meeting about like security for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. There is one question in the chat. So I don't know, Josh, if you wanted to add something. Otherwise, I'm going to jump and just answer that question.
No, but yeah, to answer the question about how to do your research on a stock or the
Hmm.
analysis of the stock,
Hmm.
essentially, when you want to get to researching a stock, the first things is, as mentioned, you want to get a stock which you understand, or you want to be in an industry which you understand, or which you're very interested in. So that's number one, is how to go about choosing a stock or whatnot. The second thing is, um, you tend to look at the management and the company itself, right? The stock market is exactly what it says. It's what the stock is doing on the market. It doesn't tell you anything about the company. And that's a big mistake people do, is they look at the stock and go, the company's doing great. No, they're not. Look at the
Hmm.
actual company, look at the finances to say, how much are they in debt to how much are they making, right? You want to see
Hmm.
that debt to revenue ratio. That gives you understanding that, they all companies have debt. Don't get me wrong. Apple, Tesla, they all have debt, but it's debt where they can pay it off if they want to.
Hmm.
It's very easy manageable for them. So those are
Hmm.
key indicators you want to look at to say, how much debt are they carrying, to how much revenues are they carrying. You want to look at the management, who's running the ship, right? If
Hmm.
they have a good history of running companies, increasing the revenues and so forth, and you look at the management and look at, the how long the company's been in business and how they manage situations, that's a very key indicator stating, this company has a good head on the shoulders, and they can definitely weather the storm.
Hmm.
So that's another key indicator. Another key indicator is looking into the numbers of the actual company, right? You want to look at, their quarterly earnings from previous years, and sort of see little patterns, and it will help you to sort of start to get an estimate as what they are capable of doing going forward. And also looking at the company itself as saying, as I use McDonald's as an example, going to the future, the future is going in a digital way. How are they able to adapt and move their business forward and be successful at it? So
Hmm.
those are very key things you want to do for an analysis of a company, right? So when you say stock, it's a portion of a company. So you want to understand that you're looking at buying a piece of a company. So you want to look at the company. You don't want to look at the stock market, because the stock
Hmm.
market doesn't tell you anything about a company. And if you look at the stock market, you're going to make very bad choices, right? You got to
Hmm.
understand the company first. So
Hmm.
that's a little intro into that. And we'll definitely have more information coming up on fundamental analysis as we're putting together a fabulous workshop for you guys.
Hmm. Yeah, that's good. So I'm actually right now on FinViz. So it's a tool that I would suggest to take a look at if you're looking for stocks. There is a lot of different filters that you can have. So descriptive, as Josh mentioned, first of all, know the company, a little bit what they do, and then you can get into fundamental, just looking at the numbers. And eventually you can also look at the technical if you want to see how the price is moving. So I strongly suggest to take a look at this one. So if you look at Apple, for instance, they show you the chart. You can see the price, how it's changing. There is even like a bit of, I would say, some technical on it. So you can take a look at those. Sometimes you can catch support and resistance, but you have all the numbers right here. So you can see how they did previously and what is the forecast for those companies. So that's kind of like a good point to start. And after that, you can do more reading about it. If you are interested into, I'm going to share it as well, but if you're interested into cryptocurrencies, there is CoinGecko that I would recommend to take a look at. where you can see if I'm going, let's say over, probably not the Bitcoin, let's take another one, but like, let's say XRP that was mentioned. Here you can see same thing. You can see like the numbers related to it and more things about the project itself. So you can see, just if you go to ripple.com, you can see exactly what they are doing. And you also have what happened in the past as well with a little chart. So that's kind of like a good place to start. If you're interested in purchasing it, you can see also where you can purchase it. I'm just going to share them in the chat so you guys have an idea. All right, Coin Finviz and CoinGecko. So yeah, that was it for. Oh, sorry, Emmanuel.
Yeah, just to add, another website that I use a lot for crypto is CoinMarketCap. And one of the tools that I like there the most is the fact that you can see the circulating supply, which tells you how much there is of Bitcoins and how much have already been sold. So for example, if you see there, yeah, you can see that 88% of Bitcoins have been sold. So there is only about 12% left, which will, it goes back to, again, to the understanding of what you have. If there is supply and demand, if you know that there is less supply, but a high demand, and you have a part of that supply, then of course what you have will be more valuable. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Thanks, Emmanuel. So I'm gonna stop presenting. I would say, yeah, thanks for that. It was really, really interesting. Thanks for you, Josh and Emmanuel, for sharing your thoughts about it. Also, Alexandra, thanks for jumping in as well. So, one thing I would say, also one other thing about the newsletter. So, thank you very much because, like, I received some feedback about it. So, really, really interesting. And yeah, so hopeful, like, we're just happy that it helps it's helping you guys. So like, yeah, really, really interesting to hear. Other thing, hopefully you guys are good with Telegram because we had to do the move to Telegram, and hopefully you're getting used to it as well. So really similar to WhatsApp. So normally not much change. All of the news are going to be there, so everything we're going to share is going to be there from now. And the WhatsApp group is now muted, so it's still there, but it's muted, so we cannot share anything in it. All right, great. So yeah, thanks again, guys, and hopefully it was helpful to you. And yeah, have a good evening.
Thanks everyone for coming.
All right, have a good night. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.